I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode.
That's good. Get it 2 more times.
Today's episode is brought to you by Unidragon Wooden Jigsaw Puzzles. Unidragon has amazing gifts and products without the huge price tag. To say that these puzzles are amazing really does not do them justice. They are wooden puzzles that become artwork in your home. They are colorful, expertly designed, and created to last a lifetime. So my friend and I have been getting 1 puzzle a month online. We've been ordering them, and we came across this site called www.unidragon.com, and they have the most amazing wooden puzzles that are truly a form of artwork. They last a lifetime, they are colorful, they are expertly designed. They actually have this world map that ranges from 51 to 110 inches wide, and they're made from oak, walnut, sapele, and even acrylic mirror. They have wolves, lions, fishes, foxes, bulls, unicorns, just about anything for anyone. They range in size from 10 inches to 7 inches high, the little ones. And they now have a new panda puzzle with the coolest looking panda bear holding bamboo leaves. I love pandas. You really need to go to Unidragon.com to see their selection. They're just extraordinary. Unidragon takes pride in providing a quality product and carefully inspects each puzzle before shipment and offers a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not completely satisfied. Unidragon really stands by their work, and that's one of the things that I loved by them. They ship internationally and also offer free shipping to the United States, Canada, and Australia for orders over a certain amount.
These are actually interesting because they're not square or rectangular puzzles.
That's gorgeous.
So when you look at like the wolf or the lion and stuff, it's the head of the lion, and there's no square edges.
No, there are no
square edges. So these are quite difficult, but they're actually worth it. And what a great thing to do with your family. Like even if you have kids, you can get a whatever their favorite animal is, and then sit down as a family and do the puzzle. It's great. And then afterwards, you can hang it on their wall. It's a piece of art. They really are beautiful. Look at that butterfly. That's gorgeous. I love that.
Look at this fox one.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
The wooden jigsaw puzzle alluring fox.
Wow. And it's a great price point. It's wooden. You could
literally keep it forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
$40 for a wooden puzzle.
Yeah.
And 10% off. Plus, if you buy 3 of them, it's 33% off.
Wow, that's great.
So basically, buy 3, get 1 free.
Unidragon.com. Hi guys, it's Cory Oliver with the Coriolis Effect, and today I want to talk a little bit about one of our sponsors, FlyteSport.com. We feel blessed enough to have this company as one of our sponsors. They're a great company. They're faith-based. It's FlyteSport.com. They have many supplements. They have t-shirts. They have clothing. But these are some of my favorite products that I've been using for almost a year. I started using them during COVID, and I'm taking them still. This is the Super Greens, which is yummy. Bob, it's yummy.
Try it right now.
I'm going to take it right now.
Okay.
You take literally a capful, and it tastes great, and you're getting your daily supplement of greens, and it's so good. Your body craves it, oddly enough. Yes. Like I drink mine after my meal in the morning, and I feel so good. Wow, you're just getting a ton of stuff. All your reds. Beetroot juice, blueberry extract, papaya, fruit jack, organic raspberry leaf. Raspberry's very good for you.
As are the
all
other
of the other things.
ingredients.
Sour cherry fruit, which is kind of tastes like that. Cranberry, it's good for your kidneys. Cranberry fruit juice. Elderberry, that's excellent for your immune system. Pomegranate. It's just filled. It's packed with a punch, a reds punch. So I can't say enough about this. This will give you a little bit of energy, and you're getting your reds in it. I highly recommend FlyteSport.com. All in one swoop. I mean, that was took me less than a minute to get all the good stuff.
And that's once a day?
And once a day, yeah. And they've got a lot of different products, so I encourage you to just visit their site and check them out. And they're wonderful people.
And how would they find them?
They're at FlyteSport.com. I'm tongue-tied, so FlyteSport.com.
Okay, ready? Let's start the show.
Okay, so we have a word of the day, Duncan, and I have absolutely no idea how to say it, so I'm going to try.
Okay, our word of the day, whoops.
Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
Say it, Cory.
Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
Close.
I don't know what.
Hippopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia.
That is the fear of long words.
The fear of long words. It's a long word.
It's very apt. It's a very long word. I've never heard of it before, but yes, that's a very long word.
No. Well,
so
good morning.
That's the word of the day?
Yes, that's the word of the day. And that is...
Love it.
Is I will never be able to repeat that. I don't think you even know this about me, Duncan, but I'm a little dyslexic. So to try to get me to say that word is like a really difficult thing. But
say it backwards.
No, it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I did not know that about you, Cory. I didn't know you're dyslexic.
And of course I chose...
Are you?
I chose the worst profession to get into, where you have to memorize, dialogue after dialogue and lines after lines. But it's actually challenged me. And there's a rather small to medium group of actors that are also dyslexic and notably and are open about it. But, it is challenging. But it's something you can overcome, obviously. So
sure. Yeah. Well, I would never have known.
Really? Thank you.
No.
I did it well. Actually, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
It's not a secret because you tell everybody you meet.
I do.
If you don't tell anybody, they wouldn't know.
I do. And they'll be like, why did you send me this text? And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to send you that text. That's not what I meant to say. But
just say autocorrect.
Yeah. Good morning, Duncan
Phillips. You can always blame autocorrect, because autocorrect is
it covers a multitude of sins.
Yes. Well, it can be horrible too sometimes. It can be nothing like what you said. So I've sent some messages over the times. That's not what I said at all. So you got to apologize and whatever. But I try to, as much as I can, avoid that sin. I try to make sure that I read it.
Yes.
Before I do.
There's a website you should go on called I Hate You Autocorrect, and it has all the funny autocorrects.
Yeah, I'll bet you there's some good ones. Yeah.
Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Coriolis Effect. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today, Duncan. Duncan Phillips is here from the Newsboys today. And this is truly a divine appointment. I talked to Duncan a little bit about this before the show. And, sometimes God has this small plan and sometimes he has a really big plan. And there's ones in between. And I met Duncan. I took my daughter to a Newsboys concert 11 or 12 years ago at our church, Calvary Community in Westlake Village. Bob doesn't even know the story. And at that concert, she accepted Christ. And yeah. And
awesome.
It was an amazing concert. You guys were awesome. And I believe it was kind of around the time that Michael had joined the band and you guys were touring.
Okay. So that was like 2009?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
And cut to 5 years later, Duncan and I are starring in a movie together called God's Not Dead.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
And so
fantastic.
Immediately when I met you on set, all of you have this amazing gift of making people feel just, welcome and loved. And there's no ego, there's no pride. The Bible says pride goes before the fall, a haughty spirit before destruction. And, that's something that, a lot of people in the industry can tend to jump onto is pride. And you guys don't have any of that. You guys have been accessible to your fans. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on today, among others, and we'll have a lot of dialogue and conversation, was I had noticed that, during this COVID time, you guys have continued to reach out to your fans, and you love your fans and they love you, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're very important to you for many reasons.
Yes.
And so you created a new app, and I want to talk a little bit about that, and among other things today, but you created a new app to kind of connect with them during these difficult times. Tell me about that app.
Yeah, well, it's an idea we've been kicked around for a long time. And one of the reasons why is because through other social medias, we're finding we were getting really squashed as far as our reach. And I won't mention the name, but everyone knows who that is. Now, a lot of people may not realize the difference between a profile and a page. A profile is typically a person where they have a couple of hundred followers, and you'll connect with old school friends and stuff like that, which is awesome. But on a page, I think they call it Business Suite now. It's totally different things to where you might have. I think we have over 2 million followers, I think, on a certain social. And your reach only get about 1 or 2% of the people actually see everything you posted. So it's very frustrating as a band. Of course, you want everyone to know that follows you, right? Or get that notification that you've got new news. So we're finding that very frustrating. And so we decided, why should we not develop our own app, which we spent a lot of time doing. And so where people can go, they can get updates, but everybody that follows the app or everyone that has the app will get that update no matter what. So that was the motivation behind it, because we wanted everyone to know what was going on. So if we have, a couple 100,000, 300, 500,000 people on the app, that everyone would know, especially with tour dates and just letting you know the basics. Just was recording and just to keep up to date. So we're going to have a lot of exclusive content on the app that'll just be on the app.
Has it been released yet? I'm sorry. Has it been released yet? It's the app?
It's released.
What's
so
the name
you just
of it?
It's just Newsboys. If you go onto the App Store or Google Play and just put in Newsboys, our app will come up and you can get on and download it for free. And
this
and
app is specific just to your band, right?
Just to our band. That's right. Yeah.
So Duncan Phillips is the original drummer and started this band in 1985, 2 years before I graduated. I'm dating myself right now, so.
That's because nobody else will do it.
I think you just dated me.
Well,
Thanks, Cory.
I was a big
Thanks
fan
a lot.
then. And then,
awesome.
This is what Duncan and I were talking about this, and, one of the things I wanted to do is reach people that may be depressed or sad or broken right now and let them know that, you might be feeling this way today, but tomorrow something really big can happen. And had I known that, we'd even be having this conversation now or be in a movie together, or my daughter would come to Christ through you, or there's so many divine appointments. Sometimes you can just really lean on God. As he says, lean not on your own understanding, right?
Yeah.
And how in your life, how has God continued during this difficult time everybody's in? Politically, spiritually, relationally, how has God worked in your life?
That's a great question. I think for me, when you're a performer and you understand this, Cory, it's life-giving to you because it's what you were made to do. It's a part of who you are. It's not who you are, but it's a part of who you are. When you're on a set and you're doing a movie, there's no place you'd rather be because you feel that you're fulfilling your destiny on some kind of level. So for me, it's like that when I'm on my drum kit. It's just like there's no place I would rather be. There's no place that I feel like I'm fulfilling my destiny more is when I'm on those drums. So to not be able to do that it's a change. It's kind of it sucks, because when you love.
That's actually an honest way to put it, because it does. Yeah. And if any of you have not been to the Newsboys show, I highly encourage it. It's an amazing show, and you do throw everything you have into it. And in some ways, it's been your workout, because you are. You're exhausted and sweating by the end of that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's 110%, and it's. I want people to see. I think when people come to see Newsboys, I want them to experience the heart of the band rather than just how many, how good of players we are or how good of singers we are. I want them to see this, because ultimately I think that's what makes the connection greater than just playing great music. I mean, I could sit back there, or we could as a band just sit back there and play our instruments, and people would enjoy it, but I want them to see this here. I want to impart something here when you give a performance, when you're doing a scene, is you want to be able to show that emotion of that scene. You want to show that, and it comes from here though. It's like you can say the lines, but to say those lines with passion and emotion, and to connect with that crowd that's watching that scene, or one day will watch that scene on the movie screen, that's a gift to be able to do that. Now, I wish I was a lot better of it.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know about that.
Making movies.
Shows.
I mean,
I've seen your shows, Duncan.
I really enjoyed the little amount of acting I've done, but it really, what it did for me, Corey, is it gave me this kind of real appreciation for acting. And what I mean by that is when you can watch a scene between, especially when it's between two people, maybe a love scene or just maybe a scene that's intimate scene, when you watching that scene and that can bring you to tears or create emotion, that is a very powerful gift that those two actors have. And not everyone has it.
Right.
You know, you might be able to remember the lines, but then, you know, once you shoot, it's like, it's not connecting. But to be able to, and I've seen you do it. I've seen great actors do it to where they're just shooting the breeze before the scene where, you know, they might be changing something out, the cameraman, and, you know, they're just shooting the breeze, talking about what they had for lunch. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the director says action, they have this incredible ability to be able to pull it all in within a split second and deliver those lines with passion. And I just watch in awe, because that to me is it's a thing, man. It's a gift, and I'm enamored by it.
Well, when you're in the green room before the show, what are you normally doing?
I'm warming up. I don't like to really have anyone in that room at that time. I know a lot of people, they get the energy of a lot of people backstage. Is that what you meant, Cory?
No. So I have to tell this story about Duncan, because this is a true story, and it actually blew my mind too. My daughter and I were this is to your green room comment. It's important for people to know really who Duncan is. He'd never tell you himself, because you're humble and you are just amazing. But my daughter and I were in Irvine at a water polo tournament, and she was playing in it. And Duncan reaches out to all of his fans and his friends. He's so good at connecting and letting people know when he's in town. And you'd reached out and said, "Hey, we're playing in Irvine."
I think it was last minute too. It was like it was one of those things like, oh my gosh, we're in Corey's town. I gotta call Cory and let her know, right?
But like, there were a lot of people that you do that are your friends that when you're in that town, you do that too. And that to me, that's your green room. You're just serving at every moment that you get. And we show up to the concert. There's a car that comes out for us and takes us backstage. And it just was so kind. And Ariana was so grateful. And so when you say, what is he doing in those moments? I know you. You're orchestrating all these people, and you're making sure that everybody has a good seat. All your guests are taken care of. And I can't thank you enough, because we've been to many of your concerts and look forward to many more. But you always make us feel so special, and we're grateful for that. So you probably have your own routine, but at the same time, I know what he's doing. Bob keeps saying, "What's in your hand?" It's his iPod case.
Oh, is that what's in your hand?
Oh, it is. Sorry. I'm just playing with it because I can. I've got my AirPods in. Yeah.
It's not two balls where you go, the strawberries. I found them out with the strawberries.
Strawberries.
You guys don't get that. watch Mutiny on the... No, what was it? The Kane Mutiny. Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, that's old. That's way before our time.
Bob's old.
Duncan, so tell me how you've seen the music industry change since 1985 when you first started this band, which hopefully we can pull up some old photos and we'll superimpose those, because really you haven't changed a bit. You look the same.
Oh, well, that's
Duncan,
not true.
Do we have your on-air permission to use any old photo we find and put it up next to you?
Well, depends. No, when you say any old photo, of course you can. That'd be great. That'd be fine. There's a lot of stuff out there, but
there's a great
how
shot.
has it changed? I think the industry in general has become a lot more generic. I think when we were younger, you could have Christian alternative, Christian rock, Christian pop, Christian country. There was all these kind of sections of music that you could have a viable career, because people would actually people buy records, so you could. And that was another part of the how people could have a career. They could because that was supplementing the shows. When that went away, I saw a lot change because people don't realize. People think, they're so minted, got so much money, doesn't matter. Well, a lot comes in, but a lot goes out. There's a lot of expenses that happen. Just keeping the keeping the machine fed, when you've got, because it's not just the 4 guys on stage. You've got all your support crew. You've got trucks and buses and drivers and hotel rooms and fuel and all these costs associated with doing what you do. So when the people stopped buying music, it put a lot more emphasis on putting on a great show, or the show was really the last thing we had left as far as feeding that hungry beast.
And to that, how many days a year do you guys tour? Typically, when we're not in COVID.
Well, typically, probably we do 120 dates, which means you're kind of gone twice as many days as that. So if you had 128, you're probably gone 240 days of the year.
And you guys have had a few changes in your band. In 1985, you had a lead singer, Peter Furler.
Uh-huh.
And what I loved was, how many years ago, maybe 3 years ago, you decided to come together again and tour together. I actually went to that show, and it was phenomenal. You guys killed it. You guys really put the whole thing back together in a way that really was beautiful to see how you married the two leads together, Michael Tate and Peter Furler.
That's a great point, because Michael at that point had been in the band 9 or 10 years, and we'd done 4 records, I think, with Michael. But we kind of sat around one day and we thought, how cool would it be for all those fans that maybe were not missing, but kind of wanted to hear Shine and Breakfast, Entertaining Angels, He Reigns, wanted to hear those classics. And we thought, gosh, I wonder if there is. And we weren't sure, because, when we had the change with Michael, we worked so hard to rebrand who we were. And we kind of had to. Not trying to discredit anything that came before, but we're trying to build something new, right? So we kind of sat around one day and we talked to Mike. We said, how do you feel about this? And he said, yeah, I think it sounds great. What would it look like? We said, we don't know. So we're actually writing a song called The Cross Has the Final Word. And we were missing a verse. And we thought, look, why not? Let's send it to Pete. He's a great songwriter. Let's send it to Pete and see what he does. He came back with a great idea. We love the sound of his voice he just did a scratch vocal, which is just like a demo. And he sent it back to us with a scratch vocal. And we thought, oh my gosh, do you want to sing on the song? Because it sounds great. We love your voice on this. You and Michael together is going to sound great. Anyway, long story short, he came, sang on the song, and people really resonated with it. And then we thought, we got together, we got creative. Look, let's book 10 shows and see what this would look, see if people want to come. They all got sold out. But it was really interesting because the first rehearsal was bizarre, right? Because Michael was like, I know I've said this before, and I hope I get this right, because if I get it wrong, it's going to sound really odd. But it was like we had a new girlfriend, right? Or you're saying new boyfriend, at which we'd been with for 10 years.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, the old girlfriend was back in the room.
That's so cute.
And it was just like the first day was like, oh man, how's this going to work? Because, being in a band is like a marriage of sorts, because you spend so much time. So, and there's
Did you get
emotions.
when I was in a band, we did it this way. Well, I'm in a band now, and we do it this way.
You know what? Everyone was so cool. I was kind of expecting a bit of that, because both Michael and Peter are very strong, which make them great lead singers, of course, both of them. I was kind of expecting we might get a little bit of that, but you know what? There was none of it.
Good.
And you know what?
Peter
I'll be honest. From the view, the seat, the audience seat.
Yeah.
You saw none of it. It was this beautiful collaboration.
Well, there wasn't any. That's what was so cool. There was none of it, which I was kind of thought there might be, but there was none. So Pete came in Pete and Phil came in within 10 minutes. We're laughing, goofing off. It was still bizarre to look over and see Pete and Phil over there. But we instantly, it was an instant coming back together, playing the old songs, laughing, joking, carrying on like we always used to. And I think people sensed that on stage when we got out on the United tour. I think you can't fake that. If there's animosity, and you know this too, Cory, if there's animosity, something just doesn't quite feel right when you're seeing a band or you're seeing it, especially on stage or whatever. But if there's unity, there's this unseen kind of thing that's just, it's either there or it's not. And we had that, and it was just awesome.
You're right. And to that word that you just brought up, I think I probably said it 10 times in my conversation with you, the last day or earlier this morning. And when I talked to you about coming on the show, the main goal of this show is to bring unity, to our communities and around the world.
Absolutely.
And you've had the opportunity of doing that, with your music and your shows, and just even outside of that, even just, with bringing people together like myself, and being inclusive and reaching out, and you're accessible to people. And, we've seen so much go on, in the last year, politically and spiritually and with religion. And the main goal is, to keep people together and not divide people. I feel like the enemies are really great at dividing. I've been the recipient of division, the spirit of division, in some relationships, and it's not fun and pretty. And, that's, if he can keep us there, then, we're floundering and we can't do God's work. And so I love that you just said that, unity, which you guys were a perfect example of, is what God wants. He's all about that.
That's one of the reasons we called it Newsboys United. We were very aware of that, Cory, and that's a great point, is that I think for people, because of the division on so many levels that was happening in the country at the time, we wanted to show that we could come together and we could work united to do something better than the sum of its parts. And I think people saw that. I think they saw...
They did.
This kind of unity of the different eras of the band, but you saw all these white guys with a black lead singer. You saw racial unity, and hopefully it was a picture of what this country, this world is going to be going forward. And I have great confidence that we're going to see a lot more of that going forward. And I don't want to preempt your next question, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, no, I stand in agreement with you right here on the air. We are all suffering in some kind of a way, and I'm actually excited. And we've talked about this. We don't want to speak doom and gloom. We want to just get excited about what God's going to do, and He will move mountains. We've all seen it.
I think we're going to see. I think, Cory, going forward, I think when you're in the middle of a fight or when you're in the middle of turmoil, it's very hard to see the wood for the trees, to quote an old statement. But I think you got to listen to that still small voice. Call it intuition, call it your spirit, call it the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
I think, and I've been listening to that a lot lately. I've really been just turning everything off and just really concentrating on this rather than this. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of news. You got to be really careful what you watch. You got to be careful what you take in and let settle over your spirit. And it's not that I want to be ignorant of the news. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I want to be ignorant of current affairs. But I'm just saying I do not want to have that idiot box on 24/7, feeding my soul fear and hate and divide. I don't have enough time for that.
Scripture says, fix your eyes on things that are lovely, things that are noble, things that are pure, because it will contaminate you when you are watching or seeing or living in another, whatever it is, whatever you're watching, whatever you're pouring into your spirit, right?
Absolutely. And it affects you not only your spirit, but I think it affects you physically.
Yes.
It does. I think if you're feeding on negativity, and now I don't want to sound too weird here, but I've known that if I do watch too much that idiot box, I get bummed and I just have no energy. I just want to because it squashes your spirit.
Disease is dis-ease, right?
Yeah.
It's dis-ease.
Yeah. So I don't watch it anymore as much. As I said, I don't want to be ignorant, but I make sure that I'm praying a lot more. I'm reading the word a lot more, and that gives me hope. I think, and I'll make this statement, I think this country and the world is getting ready for the greatest revival we have ever seen. And I feel it deep within my soul. It's like an intuition it's more than just what I think here. It's more here. it's almost like a deep down knowing that the best is yet to come. And I truly believe that.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I stand in agreement with you. Now, I know you are truly a family man. You are married with 3 children. 3 children.
Yes.
Yes.
3.
3, yes. And I know they keep you busy. And I know you are, I always see you posting things, and you really do try to have individual time with your kids as opposed to with your family as well. And how have you found this time during COVID? You know, you just mentioned you try to stay here with God, and sometimes I feel like God kind of shakes us up to find that time with him, right? And I've said to this to people, you know, this quarantining can be used, you know, for that time to grow closer to him. How have you and your family been able to enjoy more time? Because they're used to you being on the road and traveling and seeing you on a FaceTime like this, right? But you've had a chance to spend more time. And I know you traveled to Australia and Florida as well, but you've found some time, right? Sweet time.
You know what? Great. That's great observation. I have, and it's been awesome. When COVID first hit, I just went away for 3 months with my son, and I would have never have had that time if COVID never hit. Now, I don't think COVID is a good thing. I think it's a scourge on the world, but I think I had the opportunity to do something I never thought I would. And I think, you know, when you give lemons, make lemonade, I know it's an overused terminology, but I did. I thought, what am I going to do here in this time? Am I going to get bummed? Am I going to get angry or whatever? Or am I going to say, okay, there's nothing I can do about this over here, but what I can do is I can spend a lot more time with my children, my wife, my family. And I got to say, on one level, as I know a lot of people have had a lot of hard time, and I don't want to belittle that because I know that's real. But I have had personally, it's been a blessing in disguise in that sense. And I hope people hear my heart on that. I'm not saying that boastfully. I'm saying as humbly in the sense of I thank God on some level that I've had this time with my family, because spending time with your loved ones is never a mistake.
No. And God slowed you down for a minute. And I know you guys, I've actually thought about this on many occasions at many of your concerts. You know, you are out there performing for us. You are literally, you know, talking about God's word. You're preaching God's word. You're living it. And you're there giving out to the community. And, you know, it's much like, you know, your families do suffer, I'm sure. They're missing you too. And so we thank you on behalf of all of us fans out there. We thank you for taking all those, you know, moments with us. But I know that your fans can say we're grateful that you are able to spend time at home during these last 11 months.
Yeah.
It's probably much needed rest.
Well, it has been. I'm more rested now than I think I've ever been. And funnily enough, and I don't want to preempt the question, but I've become more aware of my physical body in the sense of when you go, there's an energy that goes with that. When you're touring and you're on stage every night, there's this energy, but it's allowed my body and my mind, my spirit to slow down. And I've spent a lot more time really honing and working on my physical self as well. And what I mean by that is I think just watching what I eat, you know, obviously not only watching what I watch and take in here, but watching what I'm taking into my body. So I've kind of felt that I've been through a refiner's fire on so many levels, because I've been able to have the time to really, not spiritually, but physically, mentally, just really slow down and concentrate on what really, really matters. Because if we don't have our health, everything else, I mean, you know, look at Steve Jobs, one of the most wealthiest, influential men in the world. I didn't know Steve, but had all the medicines, but, you know, he still got taken by a horrible, horrible disease.
Yes.
So your health is worth more than any amount of money. So all that being said, I've been hyper aware of really and it's more than just trying to look good. It's way deeper than that for me. It's just like when you only get one body, Cory. You only get one. You only get one opportunity. So, and then people just, they just eat rubbish and wonder why they're sick and can't move and get all these ailments, diseases. Your body wants to heal itself. But if you're feeding it all this rubbish, it can't. Well, not drinking enough water, drinking too much, I could go on and on.
Oh, no, you actually, to your point, and this is not a paid promotion at all. I want to mention a company that you and I both, we both are into. And you actually, I saw one of your posts in the beginning of COVID. And, I am going to say in the beginning of COVID, I had that mentality of, that fear mentality.
Yeah.
And you wanted to really, get all the vitamins that you needed and, do all the things that you need to do for your body. And I saw you post something, and I have a bottle of it here. We share the same common love for this product, and it's actually Flyte Sport. I know.
That's awesome.
And I actually started taking it in the beginning of COVID, and I'm still taking it. I take the Super Greens, and I take the multivitamin, which they're liquids.
Yes.
And you're getting it all in like one sip. And for me, I have a sensitive stomach, so I'll take like a zinc pill or an iron pill, and I'll just have like a stomachache for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I haven't had that issue at all with Flyte Sport. I've recently, I don't know if you're taking this, I'm gonna share a little secret maybe. I've got this powder, this Reds powder. And I put it in this little shaker, and like when I'm on the go, I literally just take it. And it gives me energy, and I feel like I'm getting my fruits and my vegetables. Yeah. And, of course, you still want to eat your fruits and vegetables. This is just a supplement. Yes. But it has helped me with my energy and keeping and building my immune system up. And they're just a great company. They really are a faith-based company.
I have never...
They are our sponsor, yes. But they are also a great company.
Well, they're also wonderful. See, I've had I've had opportunities in the past. I've had people come to me because of who we are and because I'm active, say, would you like to promote, our stuff? And I've been really reticent too. I haven't. But then when I got to meet Alex from Flyte Sport, we just resonate straight away where it was just this commonality of thought, whatever you want to call that.
And he has a story as well, a testimony, and that's what brought him to this healthy lifestyle, I might add.
Yes. So we started talking about food and eating and water intake and all this stuff. And he said, it was as simple as that. He said, would you like to try some of our products? I said, yeah, absolutely. Of course I would. And, I watch the ingredients of a lot of products, so I've taken a lot of stuff over the years thinking they were good, but then when you get to the fine print, and it is fine, it's so small, right? You can't read it. It's there's some stuff in there that's like, I don't know if I want to put that in my body. But what I love about Flyte Sport is it's super clean. And what I mean by that is there's no kind of there's no chemicals in there that I can't really I can't pronounce because they're this long and I don't know what they are. And so I would highly recommend, apart from, having this great relationship with Alex, the products themselves are really clean. Yes. I feel wonderful of them. There's no side effects that I've had. And you know what? They really taste great.
They do.
And what I'll do, Cory, I don't know if you do this, but I'll do the Kappa, the Life, Kappa Vita, then a spoonful of Reds, and then I'll put a bit of the what's the pre-workout called? Anyway, I just can't excuse what the pre is, but it's just a little bit of pre-workout. Yeah. I'll put all that in a big glass, like a 24-ounce glass of water, and I'll have that first thing of the day. And I'll tell you, man, I'm ready to go.
You already have a lot of energy, so I can imagine how much energy it must give you.
Well, it gives me this focus that if I don't have it, I notice it. It's like, whoa, I haven't had my flight today, So when I do that, and it also it for me anyway, it keeps me regular, which is a great thing.
I love that, Duncan. You are awesome. That's amazing. Oh, Duncan. One of the things that people don't know about, I'm kind of going back to God's Not Dead for a second. I'm switching gears for a minute.
Is it a movie or something?
It was, yeah. Bob's like, is that a movie or something? Yes. It's
Yeah.
actually this little tiny movie that became this.
Yeah.
Actually, it became,
Became something.
it doesn't have anything to do with the money or the notoriety. It became a huge platform to reach out to people all over the world.
Yeah.
And there was a specific scene in that movie where I'm around the dinner table and they're all kind of telling me off. That was my audition scene, and it was 3 pages.
Wow.
Nobody knows this. It was 3 pages of dialogue. And it's the reason why I took that movie, because it was the moment in my life that I got to actually, and I'm not proud of this, by the way. I'm actually confessing my thoughts to another believer. And somewhere there's this scene out there. But I got to actually tell everybody off at the table in my nice, Christ-like, kind, Mina manner.
Yeah. Great scene.
However, when I went to go see the movie, they had edited out all of it down to 2 sentences. And I was literally crushed because I was up at 3 a.m. doing this scene of 3 pages of like all my life's work. I got to say everything I would have said to anyone who's ever wronged me in that one scene.
Yeah.
And I have a point to this. I was so deflated and I was so sad. At the same time, I was excited about this movie, but I just wanted to see that moment where I got to, and I left the theater and I went home and I was like, why, Lord? That was my one moment. Like, why? And I heard God say loud and clear, I'm going to get the tissue. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Right.
I gave you the moment to get it out. It's on tape somewhere. We'll probably never see the light of day. But I kept you, exactly where I wanted you, pure and in that moment. And my question to you is, has there ever been a moment in your life where you just have felt so defeated and so sad and so, whatever it is? You don't have to be specific, but you maybe tell us a little bit for those of you who are listening, who are going through something right now where God ultimately worked it out for the better and for his purpose.
Well, I kind of got 2 I can think of off the top of my head. Funny you mentioned that scene that got cut. Michael and I, for the 3rd movie, we actually flew out. I didn't have a lot in that movie as far as the script. Anyway, we did our scenes, and I remember watching the movie. And I wanted to watch the movie in the theater for the first time. And what we did is we went and watched the movie for the first time, the 3rd movie, at the Museum of the Bible in D.C. They were having the premiere of the movie was in D.C. And I remember we had a lot of friends there and a lot of dignitaries, and because it's in DC, so we had a lot of politicians and whatnot. Anyway, I was sitting there and I was saying to the guy, hey, my scene's coming up. My scene's coming up, right? Completely gone. It was
Duncan,
completely gone.
I didn't know this.
And it was just like, at least you got some of
2 sentences.
My whole scene was gone. Yeah, my whole scene was gone.
And you know what?
But then I got talking to Stallone. What's his first name?
Sylvester.
He was at the premiere.
Sylvester?
Not Sylvester. His brother.
Frank. We just interviewed him. Frank.
His brother.
Yes. Frank Stallone.
Frank.
Yes.
Super cool dude. We chatted. We're at the premiere. We chatted and laughed about it, and he said, man, that's happened to me so many times, which made me feel better, because it was just like I was devastated that my 2 lines or 3 lines completely ended up on the cutting room floor. But he said, look, that's just the nature of the beast. Don't get offended of that. It's just what it is. He said, I've had so many scenes that have been cut, and he said, it's all good, which made me feel kind of better, because I thought, man, I must have sucked so
We had
bad.
Frank come in. He talked to us for 2 hours about all that and how he could never get started. He would start getting traction and start to move, and then something would happen. He'd lose his record deal, or he'd lose this. And he's...
And I think to point out, that's a movie, and those are lines and sides that we had for a movie, and we felt so defeated. It was just it was that moment where you're like, wait a minute, but I'm totally. And in life that happens. And
do you still have the script?
I still have the script.
We'll act it out on the show.
I do have the script, and somewhere
Right now.
on the cutting room floor is an entire monologue of me really saying what I would like to say to a lot of people in my life, but didn't get to. Yeah. And God was like, "Look, it was another moment of stripping away any pride that I had, right? Because that's what it is. It's about that pride in ourselves."
Yeah, but now we'll do a 3-minute one-woman show, and you do it on air.
Yeah. You know what? I understand that, Cory, because I know what it takes to learn your lines and say it with continuity, which makes sense. I would tend to, and I'm not as you know, I'm not a great actor at all, but I understood the closer you can stick to the script, the better, because there may be a certain phrase, the way that it's said, that's going to make sense to another scene that someone else is going to play, right? So I think, as long as it's close enough, it's going to be good enough, right? So, but that's not necessarily the case. I think when you learn it, you learn your lines. You're up to three the night before, making sure that your tempo of your words is right, that your inflections are right, that the emotion of those lines makes sense to the scene. There's so much going on that people don't realize, and I never realized until I've done these movies. Is like, man, there's so much. And when you put in your heart and soul into a scene, and 3/4 of it, 7/8 of it don't get shown, it's like, but I gave you my best. I cannot believe you didn't see that.
Well, hey, Sony, if you're listening,
so,
anyone
I totally
from Sony,
understand.
if you're listening, you can cut. You can edit together Duncan Phillips' part and my part. It will make no sense. But we'd like to see that scene.
No sense at all, but we'll like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And so you said there's 2 parts. There was two moments in your life.
Yeah. There's another moment when I first came over from Australia. When the band first came over from Australia initially, I wasn't actually in the band. But I knew that God had placed this thing so deep in my heart to play music, number one, to play music full time, but in particular, come and play music in the States. And I knew it. I just knew it, right? But at the time, I don't know if you know this about me, Cory, but I, straight out of kind of high school, I went onto the building site. I used to build homes. I was a bricklayer, so I used to lay bricks and whatever needed to be taken. So I enjoyed that, because to me, the harder the work, the hotter it was just because I'm a very physical kind of guy, so I just love that. Being outside, getting a suntan, working hard. That was just a part of my personality, I guess. But when I saw the band first came over the first time, and I knew that's what God had for me, but my life at that moment was heading in completely the opposite direction. And I remember through a series of events, I happened to be in Nashville, totally frustrated. God, you brought me to Nashville, but I'm still not doing what I know you placed on my heart. And I'll finish with this. I had to get to a point where I had to let it go. And I remember one day I said to God in my prayers, I said, I can't do this anymore. I've tried everything that I can do. If you want me to go back to Australia and become the best builder that I can possibly be, that is what I will do. I had to give it up. I had to sacrifice it.
Like
right?
Abraham did, right?
The moment I did that, yes. 2 days later, I got called to Newsboys, and the rest is history. 2 days later. So that's you were talking about earlier, how quickly something can turn from going that way to heading in the exact opposite direction. But I think he needs to get us to that point, because he's got to let us know that it's not because of how good an actor you are or how good a musician I am that I got the gig. He's got to let us know that it's only because of him that I'm here, because it has to be a miracle. If it's not a miracle, I could allow, well, I got the gig because I'm a really good drummer. You got the gig because you're an awesome actor, right? No. Those things may be true, but he's got to get us to a point where we realize that we're being called and we're being sent, not because of who we are, but because of who he is.
You're absolutely right. You know what? That is a perfect place to say amen. Amen. I've actually gone through the
Amen.
similar on that,
Right.
and so I understand that story. And there's a lot of people in the Bible who have gone through those similar things that we can refer to. But,
Yeah.
that's very well said, Duncan. Very well said. Let it
Oh,
go
appreciate
and
it.
let
Thank you.
God. Let go and let God. Right. Well, we do. I so appreciate your time. I could talk to you forever. You are one of
Yeah.
my favorite people, as I've told you. You have been so kind to Ariana and I. And she says hello, by the way. She called me on the way
Yes.
over here, and
Oh,
I said, I'm
awesome.
going to interview Duncan. She said, oh my gosh, tell him I said hello. Give him a virtual hug for me.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Well, tell her the same. Give her a big hug.
I will, but we
Sweetheart.
do close out the
Such a
show
sweetheart.
too with 3 specific things. So I'd love to know, and I know my 3 words for you. I have a million words for you. You're truly one of my favorite people, as I've said. But what are 3 words that you would describe yourself? 3 words to describe Duncan Phillips.
Wow, Cory. Wow, you put me on the spot. I've never thought about
Why?
this.
I'm actually gonna take you into uncharted territory right now, because it's never
Okay.
about you and your world. It's always about other people, and you're always so giving and kind and
Yeah.
and caring and compassionate. And I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm wondering from your point of view for yourself, how you see yourself, because I know how the world sees you, Duncan Phillips.
Yeah. Imperfect. Definitely. Fun-loving, for sure. And energetic,
Yes.
maybe. Yeah. I love, because I don't have a microphone, I'm not a singer. I love showing people who I am, because I can't do it here. I love to show people who I am through here.
Yes, your heart.
Meaning, yes. And the way I do that is by showing, it's almost like acting in a sense, although it's not acting, but if I'm having a great time and I'm loving the crowd and there's energy, you're going to know it. As
That is for sure.
a drummer, as a performer, I'm going to be smiling. I'm going to be going, hey, I'm going to be showing them how I'm feeling. And then it becomes this beautiful symbiotic relationship between the band and the crowd. And I think because of that, because you're showing them your spirit, you're showing a part of who you are, I think the connection ends up being greater. And it's not about me at that point. It's about us.
Right.
It's about us coming together, praising our Creator and having a great time, because that's what heaven's going to be like.
I
think.
I know.
Right?
Yes,
Right?
the music is just, I can't even imagine. I just can't even imagine. And you do that. And one of my words for you would be inclusive, because you really are inclusive, and you do draw people in. And just really quickly, for those of you who don't know, I'm talking to Duncan Phillips from the Newsboys, the band The Newsboys, my favorite band. And when you get up on stage, you are in, I don't know what it's called, but it's this round thing that takes you up off the stage, and you're literally spinning. And I have often wondered, I've never had a chance to ask you this, because our when we see each other, it's always so quick, and we're taking photos and we're backstage,
Sure.
and then we're gone. But do you ever get nauseous? And did you when
No,
you first started
never
that
have.
thing? Never have.
Never have. And you know what? People ask me that all the time. Do you ever get sick? Do you ever get nauseous or anything like that? Never have.
Because you're going pretty fast. You know the mile per minute that you're heading on that thing?
Yeah. Do I know how? No, it's fast
It's
though.
fast.
Like if you see videos of it, I mean, it's like this. So
Was it difficult
I've
for
had
you to get your rhythm while you're spinning?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
G-force.
the force, not only the G-force, you're right, but then the force is gravity is affecting you because you're turning and spinning. Gravity is affecting you, continually changing.
Right.
As
it's
you're
your
spinning.
centripetal and centrifugal forces are playing havoc with you.
It's both of
Right.
it's both of those forces. So there's some in certain positions, like when I'm up or down, like if I'm all the way up or all the way down, that's when I can breathe. But when I'm on my side, because I didn't want to have any straps.
I was just going to ask you, I've seen you and you don't have anything here. So is it a real belt that you're sitting in, or what are you in? Nothing. Oh, okay. Mum's the word. It's a secret. You have to go watch the show to find out.
The whole back of his shirt is Velcro.
It's Velcro. That's exactly right. I got Velcro on my pants. No, but I didn't want, because I wanted the initial, when I tipped over initially, I wanted that to be a moment, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? He's going to fall off, right?
Yeah.
Because when you have all straps over, it's like, okay, he's going to spin, he's going to turn upside down, do something, right? But I wanted that initial impact to be, he's going to fall out of this thing. What? Stop! I wanted them, and people still do to this day. They say, oh, I was so afraid for you.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. And every time I see it, I'm literally afraid for you. By the way, I've seen you like 6 times.
I'm like, we're professionals. Come on.
One of the things I love,
first of all, you're a professional the second time you do it. The first time...
Well, the first time, I remember the first time. If we've got time, Cory, you just let me know. But I remember we were in Nashville. We were in this big warehouse in Nashville. We were testing. We just built it. And it was like 4 days before we went out on tour. Typical Newsboys. It's all, everything's last minute. I remember going up 18 feet in the air thinking, yeah, I got this. Then I remember tipping over like this. I'm like, I think I got it. And then it started turning because my body wasn't accustomed to how it was feeling. I remember dropping the steps, grabbing onto whatever I could, said, stop. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. It's just not going to happen, right? I don't know. We spent all this money, all this time and effort, but guys, forget it. So typical Newsboy style, we took it anyway. And I remember thinking I felt like the first time that I was running off a big 100-foot cliff, and I was just like, you know what? I got to do it. I'm going to do it anyway because I maybe it was my pride, but I didn't want to look like a dingus in front of all those people.
Australian word. That's our word today for tomorrow.
Is dingus, right? I didn't want to look like a dingus in front of all these people. So maybe it was my pride kicked in. It's like, okay, here we go. I'm going to do this. And I did it. I came up and I'm like, and I was breathing like, because I'm very energetic doing my thing, but then when I'm on my side, when I'm like this, I've got to do, like fighter pilots do.
Ab workout.
But I can't breathe. I've got to kind of hold, even though I'm playing and doing this, I've got to hold my breath and hold my core so tight so that I don't fall out, right?
Wow.
And then I come back, and then I got to do the same thing. So I got to tell you, I got to make sure that I don't charge too hard in the song before.
Right. You have to.
So I don't want to start the song be like that already, because when I get into the spin, I'm gonna fall out.
Well,
I'm gonna stop.
11 months off. Are you able to? Are you spinning at all? Do you
have one of those machines at home?
At home, yeah, to kind of.
No, I don't, but I do crunches every day. Yeah. So I'm very aware of when I go back. I don't want it to be such a shock to my body. But I Cory, I've become a runner because when COVID first hit, all the gyms are closed. There's nothing open. I couldn't play a show. And I'm not a big gym guy. I'm not a big kind of, go in there and pump weights. I've never been that kind of guy. I've always been more of an aerobic, long and lean. I'd rather be long and lean. Don't get me wrong. I still want to be in great shape, but I thought, man, there's nothing I can do. I went down to the beach for about 3 months, and I said, run. That's all I can do. All I can do is run. So I've become a runner, and I don't do a lot, probably 3.5 to 4 miles a day, which is not a lot, but for me, it's about intensity. So what I want to do, it's not about just setting a pace and running that distance. It's about how intense can I do that distance in. So I'll run, just get the blood flowing. I'll run the first kind of 3/4 of a mile or so, just get limited. Then I'll stop. I'll get down, do some crunches, do some dips, do some push-ups, and then get up, start running again. So I'm continually, it's almost like a HIIT workout. So I'm continually spiking it up my heart rate, dropping it down, spiking up, but then I'm still doing these kind of anaerobic exercises
It's like interval
between
training, kind
the
of.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly what it is. So, and I found it was really, I really started enjoying it. So I was able to keep my stamina and fitness, because drumming is like that.
Yeah.
It's like a 3.5 minute, and then you'll stop. While between the next song. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you charge straight in the next song.
Stop. You've just kept those shows are the best shows, I tell you.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep that anyway. So for me, my fitness is not just long distance. My fitness is kind of really spiking it up, staying there, bringing it down, spiking it up, bringing it down. So I thought, well, I should probably work out the same so my body doesn't, go into conniptions when I get back on the kit again.
I know. As I get older, I'm like getting out of bed and I'm like, wait, my feet are not quite moving. So, and I tell this to everybody, like, motion is lotion. You have to keep moving and keep your joints lubricated and just keep going.
Yes.
Even if it's just a walk, just take a walk.
I think the biggest thing that we can do as we age is get sedentary, meaning stop moving. Look, even if you do some push-ups and you can always, on the side of the edge of a chair, you can do some dips, you can do some push-ups, crunches, you can do all these kind of things. And it doesn't take that long. And to get the blood flowing, get oxygen into your brain, I make sure I try, if it's not too cold, because Nashville can get cold, try to get outside every day. Really, really spend some time where I can almost hyperventilate for a period of time to really help to super oxygenate your blood every day. And I'll get another thing I want to touch on too is your immunity. Is you got to get outside. You got to get outside your house. You got to take this off.
Yes.
And you got to work on your immunity, because
Unmask
it's
yourself
something
and
that's
get some fresh air. It's so important.
You got
organs
to get
need
some
oxygen.
sunshine.
Yes.
Yes. And you have these I've seen people that even driving along by themselves and I'm like,
it's fear.
Are you serious?
Really fear.
Now,
We've talked about that. Yeah.
Look, this is the thing. We separate ourselves from people. We stay in our homes. We don't work on our immunity, which is a daily thing to work on your immunity. You know what's going to happen as soon as they go outside? They're probably going to get sick because their immunity is so low, because they haven't been building on every day. That I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but I'm just saying
overall,
get outside, get some sunshine, get some fresh air, and move.
Yes.
And
so important. It's so important.
Will aid your immunity. Absolutely.
Yeah, God
anyway,
made that immunity for a reason. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. That's and those are very, very, those are words to live by Duncan Phillips.
Yay!
So we're gonna go on and do a little thing that we do on every show. Now I'm gonna preface this by saying, because at first when Bob, our lovely producer, printed these, I was like, these are kind of demonic. What is this? It's an actual test, though, that everybody's doing on the show, and
has been doing for hundreds of years.
It's an Inkblot test.
Rorschach test.
Rorschach test.
Yeah.
Rorschach, not Horshack.
Rorschach. Yeah. And it's been kind of fun and interesting to see what some people are doing. And we actually had a couple on the other day that literally, this great, amazing couple, they just got married.
Andrew and Kyra. Yeah.
Andrew and Kyra Carter. And they love God and the Lord, and they're so like simpatico that they said the answers at the same time, the same answers from these Inkblot tests, and it was just confirmation.
And Cory broke out into crying.
I did start crying because I do cry all the time. So, so I'm gonna just put them up really quick, and you just tell me what you see.
Yeah. Okay.
There's 5 of them.
Okay. Two people embracing. They love each other.
I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah. Two birds.
Okay.
Two birds flying, wings flying up.
I see that. I can see through this, by the way.
Two people with hats on, big tall hats, and they're holding their hands up against each other like that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow, that's different. I see two upside down, maybe, and the two. I'm not quite sure what the middle bit is, but two boots, so like a pair of boots, upside down boots.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I see two birds.
Two birds.
And down the bottom there's two birds.
Yeah, two birds. I see it.
Yeah, kind of sitting on some kind of bowl, and they're looking up and I'm not quite sure what's above them, but I see two birds.
I love it.
Yeah. Was that close to anyone?
There's no right answer.
There's no right or wrong answer, and a lot. And the first one, I think and
you're not nearly as crazy as the other people we've had.
You saw beautiful things. Those were wonderful things.
Good.
Last thing is, Duncan. Well, first I want to say I'm for those of you who are just tuning in via podcast only, audio only, I should say. I'm with Duncan Phillips from the Newsboys, the band the Newsboys, who is a dear friend of mine, and I just can't say enough about him. He's amazing. One other thing I want to touch on before we get to our last question is, do you have, for your listeners out there and your fans, we share kind of the same fan base, right? Do you have any upcoming dates? Has the world decided when you can tour again? And also, where can we go to find out those dates? I think
probably the best thing is either go to newsboys.com or go to the app, go download the app, because then that's where all the dates will be. So that's probably the best place to go, probably. Okay. And that'll have all the dates. I think we've got one in April, maybe one date, and
California?
Then a couple of more. Yeah, I don't think so yet, Cory. I wish. I can't wait to get back out on the Best Coast. Did I just say that with my outside voice? Did I just say the Best Coast?
The Best Coast.
I think I did.
Well, my last question is kind of a fun question. I know you're really happily married and wonderfully married, and I actually love you and your wife, because you are just you've maintained this beautiful relationship, and during all of these years that you've been on the road, and I mean, it takes a very special woman. Yes. And she is, and I've met her, and I love her, and I love that about you. But we do ask all of our guests this: who your and it could be an animated person if you want. Who your celebrity crush is?
Cory Oliver.
Who is it?
Cory Oliver.
Nobody's ever said that before.
I mean, he's kind of put on the spot. I'm not gonna lie. Well, you know what? Likewise, thank you so much.
Well, actually, before we go, you're in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Are you near Nashville?
Just outside of Nashville, yeah.
I have a friend of ours, actually, we're going to have on next, a guy named Goodwin O'Tuno, is a pastor is Antioch the town in Tennessee?
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
He does
Antioch is just outside Nashville, yeah.
He does a Sunday sermon every week. I'll put you in touch with him. He's a great guy from South Africa, and he puts on like a 3-hour sermon at his church now. He had COVID in September, got over it, and now he's been, or maybe July, but now he's been doing it. And I'll put you in touch. He's a great guy to talk to, and he's in your neighborhood.
Oh, fantastic. Please do.
I will.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Well, Duncan, I can't say thank you enough. Please say hello to Michael and Jeff and Jody and the band and everyone, your manager. He's always been so kind. I can't thank you enough.
Steve is crazy. Steve's a good guy. He's been with us forever. Yeah. And
but he represents you guys in a way that is just so Christ-like, and he gets it. So
yeah, he does get it. He's a good dude. Good dude. I sure will, Cory.
I can't thank you enough for joining me today, and I just look forward to seing you in concert soon. Give my love to your family, and I will hope to talk to you soon, Duncan. Be blessed. Love you guys.
Peace and love to everyone.
You too.
Got it.
Thank you.
And we're out.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching the Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.